Hello and welcome to another chapter of HD Brand Leadership Series. We'll speak and we would have spoken to some of the brightest, some of the sharpest, and most renowned names in the business of today who'll come and they'll share their thoughts, insights, and accomplishments that have helped them set apart from the rest. They'll also share stories and strategies that are going to help you, the viewers, to get a bigger picture in the world of brand and marketing and business. In today's age of innovation and scale, our guest today, Jigar, is helping shape the country's and UAE's digital future. An entrepreneur, a serial one at that, an investor, and a strategic government advisor, Jigar Sagar has spent over 15 years in building and scaling more than 31 successful ventures with a combined valuation exceeding $350 million. He's done well, extremely well, and has helped transform public-private partnerships and free zones into finding and founding high-impact ventures like TriLive, EZMS, AppyZap, and his work sits at the intersection of tech, business, and innovation. It's an absolute pleasure to have Jigar over today. All right, so
It's been
300K.
about, I would say, there have been at least over 300,000 plus entrepreneurs that, we have been able to fortunately support in their journey to entrepreneurship. We've either helped them from a structuring perspective, whether it was through marketing, firms, or any and every service that I plug into the ecosystem for entrepreneurs, and they basically utilize that. So the count's pretty high.
Jigar, this is absolutely fabulous, and it is such a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you for having
From a 10-year-old
me.
at your father's shop in Gold Souk to where you are today, the journey is fabulous. The journey is of significant scale and of significant depth. How do you look back to 20, 30 years back on your experiences initially?
Right. So I think let's state the fact. I come from a privileged background. The fact that I didn't need to worry about putting food on my table allowed my brain to have that capacity to absorb what is the definition of commerce, how does business work, how does money flow. There are not many people who are in that privileged position. So firstly, I do understand and appreciate that not everyone has the same starting line.
Fair?
But I also truly believe, because of the journey that I've been through since then and the people I've interacted with, it doesn't matter where your start line is. What matters is your ambition to where you want to be. So at the same time, when you say I started at an early age, I wish I could have started earlier. I wish I had all this wisdom that I have today back then. And I could have made this world a way better place than where it is today, in some shape or form. When we talk about the hustle as a child in the souk, it teaches you something. It gives you that sense of exposure, but then it also comes with the curiosity. My curiosity into wanting to know how things work is ultimately what made me absorb the knowledge, right?
Sure.
I wanted to understand what is the meaning of sales. How do you sell something in a market of 300 plus stores selling non-branded items? How do you attract repeat customers? So how do you understand? I mean, these fancy terms of client experience, which emerged way later. I had probably learned them early on without knowing these terms as such.
Fab. And Jigar, tell me, as a 10-year-old, in a space or in a market area that is just a phenomenal way of growth, you're still at a very young age exposed to various things. I understand what you're trying to say with experiences that have helped shape the way you think today, the way you operate today. It's very non-linear in nature, right? Let's go back to 1-2 experiences
Right.
that hold on to that a particular moment where that a particular switch that you found in yourself then,
Okay.
that you look back at today and say that, what a phenomenal experience that was.
Right. One experience I talk about quite often, because it's impacted me so much, was a fact that I'm a 10-year-old. My father happens to be the owner of that business, and then we had a team of sales support within the retail store. And I walk in, seeing him cleaning the glass facade and
Seeing him clean the
seeing
glass.
him clean the glass facade. And um, I could not process the fact that there were 4 or 5 people giggling, gossiping, chit chatting while he was doing this. And I couldn't grasp it. I'm like, why are you doing it? Why can't the help do it?
Hmm.
Typical, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't know any better at the age of 10, and that's how I thought. Um, his response to that was pretty much on the lines of saying, "This place is like my baby. This business is my baby. When you become a father, you will understand that it's important for you to clean your own baby's bottom and not leave it to the others." And I swear I didn't understand it.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lie; it made no sense to me. I thought he was making no sense at that point, and frankly speaking, he was just finding excuses to make me do work, which he eventually made me do. So I would get paid,
And
and
you got
that's
a
how.
dirham for cleaning it.
Yes, and that's how the relationship between me and money started. That it had to be earned.
Hmm.
While I came from a privileged background, I was fortunate enough to be put through the training that money is earned.
Hmm.
You're not entitled to it. You're entitled to comfort, love, guidance, support, advice, education, but you're not entitled to money.
Mm.
And that sort of shaped me in that sense. So, understanding what it means for someone who's a business owner to say it's my baby and it's my baby's mess for me to clean. Today, when I apply it to my businesses, I go in with that approach that in my organization, the expectation is very clear. It is not about pointing fingers as to when there is a mess, and every business has a mess. Every business has a issue, a challenge, whatever you want to call it, on any given day. Do not point fingers that this is not my mess to clean. It's someone else's, and ignore the mess and walk away,
Roll up your sleeve and just do it.
even if it's not your mess.
Yeah.
If the business is yours, if you treat, and I genuinely believe that the only people I would like to have on my leadership team are who believe not from an employee mindset, but from a business mindset.
Fair.
And it comes both ways. I think as business owners, we got to also then make sure that commercially and in relationship, they're treated as equals and partners.
Sure. Fabulous. The final pitch, Dubai.
Mhm.
How was that experience?
I mean, it was, listen, a unique experience. I'm not, or I wasn't a TV personality prior to this.
You're lying.
Well, I loved being in front of the camera very early on in my life, and then I didn't know why I stopped doing it because I used to do a lot of stage shows and likes. But it sort of put me in a seat
Hmm.
where while I functioned as an investor even prior on, there was a different method to my investments. And being on that show sort of made me question my own approach.
Okay.
It sort of also made me understand the psyche of the one who is pitching.
Nice.
It was no longer about this pitch is good or this pitch is bad. It evolved as a investor judge, and because that the format of the show required for us to mentor these people, it was about understanding what are they pitching, how do you guide them, how do you help them. So in a way, I'm supposed to help you to convince me to invest in you. So it's pretty tricky and neat that way, but frankly speaking, I think it taught me to look at it from the other lens, right? So it taught me what is it that these people are missing, that the investor in me is not connecting to. How do I guide them? How do I help them? And then there's also that lesson. When you reach a stage in your life where you genuinely want to help and you care, this sort of gave me an ability to say no. It gets very difficult to say no when
Yes.
you are in a mindset that I want to help.
Yes.
But something like this also put me in a position where I learned and accepted to say no.
Fabulous. But again, even at that moment of being exposed to these youngsters, these business owners who are pitching to you or subsequently will be pitching to you, and you're mentoring them along the journey, I'm sure there are 2, 3 businesses that really got you excited, that really arrived at, wow, I would have done this. Any examples that you would want to speak of?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there were certain businesses which were emotionally very triggered out of their own founder stories. Someone was running a e-cancer clinic because their parent had gone through that journey, and I, as an investor, stood back and I said no to it. The story was passionate, the story made sense, but there was no business. And I think this is the problem. I don't think there's a dearth of vision, of ideas. I mean, the amount of emails I get in my inbox saying, hey, I want to try to do this and I'm looking for investment. But frankly speaking, the challenge is in this world today, it's global, it's universal, it's not India limited, it's not UAE limited, is the know how. No one is teaching anyone how to run a business and how to accelerate your vision to a stage where you fail, you know, or you succeed, but it happens as fast as possible. I mean, you mentioned in my introduction the 30 plus ventures. These are the active ones. But what people don't see and don't talk about is the 100 plus failures. I mean, those are painful failures, but then they also teach you valuable lessons. And for me, one thing is very clear: the most valuable, the asset that we have is our time. I can take money from my friends and network. I can procure talent by paying salaries or giving them stakes. Where are you going to get me time from? So don't waste my time. Don't make me think about what I would do in the past. Let's focus on what I can do today and tomorrow, right? So it's all about accelerating your success or failure.
And that is so fabulous to hear. Jigar, tell me, and I want to get deep into the DNA that has shaped your thinking, the way you're thinking and articulating your thoughts today.
All right.
Is it because of the two very distinct threads of Indian roots, UAE upbringing, a capitalist in you?
I definitely think there is a mixture of something that Indian values brought to the table. Be good, do good, respect. I think there's a lot that I learned coming from an Indian family. But then at the same time, I think being in UAE, being made in UAE, right? I'm made in Dubai. At this point, what also happens is that you are in the melting pot situation. You also learn to respect different cultures, different religions, different geographies, different people, different thought processes. Um, if you didn't have that combination, it would have been very easy to get swayed into one direction. So while India taught me to keep my foot on the ground, UAE taught me to aim higher. And that is something that is very uniquely, that I'm so grateful for, right? Because I don't think everyone gets that kind of exposure.
They don't.
Yeah.
And it's very nice of you to have applied it to the businesses that you're already successful in and helping so many entrepreneurs do good.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you look at the Indian culture, it comes from a very competitive landscape, right? It is all about how do I win? How do I succeed? And I'm seeing a small shift in that mindset going, and there's becoming this now global mindset, but it's still far off from where, let's say, Dubai is, where the mindset is, how do I help you succeed?
Wow.
It is not about pulling you down, it is about pushing you up. And I am fortunate to live in a society. And what is UAE? I mean, you're talking about 90% of the population that are expatriates, that are non-locals. These people come to that country, city with an ambition. An ambition to succeed. They have either seen pain, competition, sufferings of an entrepreneur, or they're experiencing it while they're there. So when you're in that mindset, when you're in that journey of wanting to succeed, yet going through the challenges, and you see your peers, you see your neighbor, you see a stranger going through challenges, you don't look down upon them, you don't try to bring them down, you actually try to help them with the hope that there's someone else who can help me.
And that is just so refreshing to hear, Jigar. I'm sure it's a fabulous place to stay. But even with that thing, there's a very interesting point that you touched upon. I'd like to double click on that. When you said that these are 30 plus businesses that are very successful, flourishing, doing well, there are 100 plus failures as well. Let's talk about what very few people speak of, failures.
Sure.
What is it that you learned from these experiences? You as an individual learned from these
Amazing
experiences, and you'll
lessons.
tell to people.
Okay, so amazing lessons. One, I learned a lesson that it's easier to divorce your spouse, but to break up a business partnership is even harder. So be very careful about who you partner with. I learned the lessons or the importance of law. Why? Because you don't look at your agreements till conflicts arise.
Yeah.
So this is not even about partnership agreements. I'm talking about any and every legal document that you just blindly sign off on. It's one thing to accept the terms and conditions of your email account setup compared to you signing off blindly on a contract that applies or is significantly applicable to your business. You may not realize a simple telecom contract can cause, because of termination clauses and XYZ, a huge financial impact on a startup, right? As an impact. But we don't even look at these contracts. We don't even look at these termination clauses. We don't look at these extra charges in there. And that's where I learned the lessons of the importance of understanding law. And one thing is very clear: in the world of business, no matter which country you're in, you are responsible. You not knowing the law is not an excuse for your business failure.
Read the fine print.
At least have an understanding. And now you have the ability of technology to help you with it.
Yes.
Run that document through a GPT process and let it give a summary to you in a a layman's language. You don't need to be a lawyer.
Right.
I mean, I feel bad for a few lawyers who are going to probably lose some work, but it again means that they're just going to have to elevate the way they think.
Jigar, the way you're speaking, the way you're articulating your thoughts, convinces me more and more that there's a very strong framework in place. The framework that you've deployed in identifying, all right, here's business where I'm going to give my precious time to. Here are those 31 businesses creating significant $1 million of impact on the economy as such. Here's the framework that I will deploy to each of those 30 plus businesses. What's that? What's that secret sauce?
Okay, so for me, I firstly think my understanding of the definition of entrepreneurship may not necessarily be the same as everyone else's.
Explain
For
more, please.
me, an entrepreneur is not a single business owner.
Okay.
An entrepreneur is someone who's able to develop a system where the business runs without that person.
Superb.
Now, I call myself a serial entrepreneur because I do that many times. It's repetitive.
Yes.
So the first rule that I apply on myself is the day I think of launching a business or starting a business, and we're not talking about investments, we're talking about
a
startup, is I give myself a termination letter 6 months from the date of inception.
Wow.
So
you give yourself a termination letter that after 6 months, you'll not be involved in that business.
Yes. I cannot be working for the business because then I feel like I've just bought myself a job. Right. So let's classify how many people are genuinely entrepreneurs and how many of them have bought themselves jobs. So get that segregated. Now,
nice.
Next thing, what's the framework of a business, right? If you think about the fundamental pillars of a business, you got your products and you got your process and you got your people. So the first framework is put the people together, bring in the right talent. Talent can come in the form of partnerships, can come in the form of co-founders, can come in the form of employees.
Yeah.
That's whatever it takes to bring whatever talent that you will require to launch that business because you don't have that talent.
Fab.
Or you have that talent and you don't want to apply it anymore.
Get that point.
The next piece is getting those people to create the product, the MVP. As fast as possible, as affordable, and as cheap as possible, right? Get the MVP ready. Because the sooner you get the MVP ready, the sooner you can test it. And the sooner you can decide if this was a dud or a worth.
You can either scale up or scale down.
There's no scale down. If the MVP fails, you shut it down. And that's where
move on to the next problem.
80% of the founders get stuck. That's my baby. I can't let it go. I have to see it succeed. They hear the words, oh, don't quit. Please quit. Please quit if it's not working.
Sure. And what is also refreshing, Jigar, that you defined a very specific time frame that I'm going to do this all. And 6 months is all that I have to test it.
I try to do it sooner than that. And sometimes it goes beyond that. But then the expectation on day one is 6 months.
Fabulous. Tell me, how do you put that first team in place? How do you get those first 5 people?
Right. Do we do it with an example or do I
Of course,
generate?
with an
Okay,
example.
so let's start with you. Give me an idea of a business that you've
I
been
know
thinking about. That you've been thinking about. Because
a
it has to be.
personalized coffee mug.
Great. What do you know about creating a personalized coffee mug and running that business at this point? Maybe
Damn.
marketing,
Yeah.
uh,
Only marketing.
right? You know only marketing, the sales side of things, right? You probably don't know what product or
The
goes into
ceramic,
this and what's the print and what's the ink. You probably don't have the technical know-how.
Yes.
Your step number one is to understand you will need a technical expert. You will need a finance expert.
To get the production in place, to get the sales in place, probably.
Yeah, so if it depends. Well, you said you sort of understand marketing and sales, so that's sort of is you. Business development is you, if that is what it is.
Sure.
But what you definitely didn't hit on was you don't have the ability to create this product.
Yes.
You don't have the ability to govern the organization because you
Sure.
didn't mention HR, you didn't mention finance, you didn't mention any of those things.
Mhm.
Now, what it takes is for you to first go find the most critical of this list,
Understood.
which in your example would be the technical know-how of someone who understands manufacturing
Mhm.
and beyond that understands what machinery is required, what to procure, what not to procure, what raw material will
Fair.
go in, what ink will go in. Now, when you will bring that person in, you will understand and realize the same way you probably could do marketing and business development and sales. Maybe you have some basic HR capabilities or not.
Mm.
This person will also must have definitely the technical skills,
But the wit.
but there has to be something.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to, but let's be honest, everyone has something to offer to the
Correct.
what if this person's great because maybe they're an operational brain, they're logical thinkers and they know numbers. He can help you with your finance in the beginning.
Got it.
Then what's missing is probably another element. So your fundamentals are usually HR, finance, marketing, sales, which we combine as business development. Then that's operations or the factory of putting whatever product or service you're doing together. And then there's customer service and customer retention. Are you both any good at that? Maybe, maybe not. If not, then you need to plug in that resource.
So get 5 people who can double up into 10.
I don't believe you need to get 5 people. I believe you start with one, which is you. And then you start looking out what was your business idea? What is missing? Now that might require 50 people or 3 people. Don't try to put 5 and 50 or 3 are required.
But again, Jigar, when I take this example of yours, where you were helping me sell more cups, it is also very clear because of the kind of businesses and the kind of verticals, the spread that you have across these verticals of AI, e-com, governance, finance, recruitment. The width is immense and the width is so wide that it will become increasingly difficult for you to find time. No wonder you said the most precious resource that you have at this point of time is time.
Okay. So I want to first clarify something. I wasn't trying to help you sell the cups. I wasn't trying to do that. What I was trying to do is put your business into that MVP mode.
Understood.
As soon as possible, as fast as possible.
Understood.
If you're going to think far ahead, you're going to delay yourself, human nature. You're going to overthink and not execute. The biggest mistake you can do is not do. Okay, so that's number one.
Sure.
The second thing is, hence, when I do this and why it was the concept of 6 months, because I said, okay, I want to at least be able to do 2 businesses, to be in sync with what it is to be a founder. Because today's day and age, technology, things, society, geopolitics, everything moves so fast. In 6 months, you think you know it all, and then someone comes
Something
asks you a
happens.
question, and you're probably a nobody knowing nothing. And I'm fully aware and accepting that fact that yes, I could have been, the one who launched that business 3 years ago, but don't expect me to know anything about that business, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I have the right team to take it forward. It is not about launching a business. It's about creating a system which is going to work irrespective of the people. So hence you need intelligent people to create great products
And these great systems.
and the processes. And the process feeds in the ability to attract good talent eventually.
And that allows you to simultaneously focus on so many different things and just scale up.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you create a system where you need a touch point of 5 minutes, 3 minutes of data reading, and if you understand everyone works from gut, But the difference that a successful person applies is that they validate that through
Nice.
data. So there's no human being who doesn't have the concept of that.
Jigar, it is, we'll segue.
Right.
And while we segue, we'll continue going deeper into this topic that we are at. What does your dashboard look like? How would you monitor? What are these KPIs that you put in place that allows you to monitor so many businesses simultaneously?
Right. Very simple. For me, the KPI is as simple as financials. Right. There's key. Firstly, you can't have more than 2 to 3 KPI per business.
Sure.
So that KPI applies to my CEO. Every department head has the 2-3 KPIs. Again, it cascades down.
Yeah.
What I need to see is not maybe more than 2 to 3 metrics.
So you look at top line, bottom line, efficiency matrices.
Different businesses, different things. So in when you're talking about service industry, you're talking about SLAs like transactions. You're looking
retention,
like retention. There's more of financial in nature, anyways, but it's more to do with transaction volume. So what's
Fair.
sort of a bottleneck in the operational flow of
Fair.
the service delivery, profitability, and customer service levels, right? Or happiness index, or Google ratings, whatever you want to call it. So they're very basic. You have to simplify things. People are so used to thinking that simplification is not equal to value. Overcomplication is equal to must be right. I'm telling you from experience, the more you simplify, the better it gets.
Fabulous. I'm going to ask a difficult one now.
Go for it.
We spoke about babies and babies' bottoms when we started this chat.
Right.
The 31 odd that you have, 31 plus babies that you already have. Choose the one that you really are going to invest heavily behind it, right? I'm going to do everything, but this is the one that I really bet for. Your favorite child after the 31 that you
I
have.
don't have a favorite child, and I'll be blunt with you. At this point, it is more to do with there isn't a favorite. I mean, it's not about this this company makes more money for me, so it becomes my favorite. On the contrary, I think if I had to pick one, I would pick one that I'm more passionate about.
Sure.
And for me, I have these businesses, but my life's mission is not equal to that business's mission, right? So my life's mission is about empowering entrepreneurship.
Nice.
I want to be able to create a system where even after I'm gone, entrepreneurs can be created, can be supported, can be guided. What I believe is missing is the know-how of how to, and even the know-how will need to be ramped up every, once in a while, because things evolve. We weren't talking about AI a few years ago. Now we are, and businesses now need AI. They weren't needing it earlier.
Yes.
So needs change, problems change, solutions change. How do I create a system in place that
keeps
allow
churning it again.
for this refresh to happen simultaneously while catering to the needs of assistance, guidance, mentoring, advice, support to these entrepreneurs? And for that, I don't think a school is the right answer, because I don't think one solution fixes every problem. I think it has to be a handheld case of every entrepreneur comes with a very different set of experience, life lessons, education, vision. They each need to be catered to independently. And for that, creating an ecosystem. And that's where the mindset of becoming a serial entrepreneur, because basic needs, marketing. So yes, we have a marketing agency, right? Oh, we need technology. So we have a software development agency, we have a no-code platform, we have a low-code platform, we have a processing platform. Great, caters to most. But AI comes in, and all of a sudden now we need additional
Competencies to be on.
well, let's put it, the additional technologies made available for the startup environment. I mean, while the world goes mad about AI, I mean, if you look at startup environment and SME environment, there's barely any utilization
Fair.
beyond ChatGPT.
Yes.
So it's about bringing affordable technology to startups.
Jigar, what you're saying is giving all of us, and hopefully our viewers as well, a peek into the UAE way of life, right? It's a very, I wouldn't call it capitalism, because you also blended socialism where all of the people work together, grow together, and become successful entrepreneurs, successful businesses. And everyone does well. Your businesses did very well during COVID, and they contributed to 5% of all business setups in UAE. That's phenomenal. How how do you see the country? How do you see UAE enabling this? How do you see that
Right.
happen?
I think firstly, you have to understand the fundamental of commerce in today's day and age. We don't live in a very closed door economy anymore.
Yes.
We're a very global economy.
That's
What
a fact.
happens in one room affects what happens in another room, right? Now, if you look at it from that perspective, when you're launching a business, are you launching it to just be limited or for it to grow? Everyone's gonna say grow. How do you grow? If you want to grow, you need a sandbox environment.
Yes.
And I've always said this, UAE is the world's best sandbox environment because you have people over there from every culture, geography, income range as well. So not everyone's driving a Ferrari, but not everyone's using a bus, right? But we have the utilization of that in the whole society by a variety of demographic.
So the right sandbox.
It is the perfect sandbox because I'll give you an example. If I were to start a startup and launch it in India, and if it was successful in India, it does not guarantee me success in, let's say, America or Europe.
Fair.
If I launch a startup in the US and it is successful, it yet does not guarantee me success in, let's say, Australia.
Correct.
I launch a business in the UAE, and if it is successful, I can guarantee you that it will be successful in all of those other countries.
Because of the nature of the culture, the people, the
Exactly.
weight.
So when you think systems, technologies, you can't launch systems technologies with just one language, for example, out there. You will have to launch it taking into consideration people from different cultures and languages.
Stratas.
So you are forced to build for the world. You are, and if you don't, you'll be wiped out. The competition in UAE is ruthless. There is no time for you to waste time.
Nice.
People think it's an easy life. People think it's filled with money. Oh my God. Do you know that I can tell you right now, the funding ecosystem of India is way ahead than of UAE. But when it comes to the competition of hunt for for foreign money, it's madness out there.
Nice.
So it's a very competitive environment. It's very cutthroat. But it comes with an intent of supporting each other to help you grow rather than to bring you down.
And UAE, because of this, has been on an extraordinary run. Right? There were golden visas, freelance permits. What's that one thing that has enabled this phenomenal growth? Why is it that it has become a place like it is?
So I think what we need to fundamentally understand is that it's not a new thing. It didn't happen overnight. My grandfather, so 4 generations ago in our family, someone decided to go there, migrate there for a couple of years. This is back in the day when Indian rupee was officially the currency out there, and had thought he was going to spend some time out there and come back, to the extent where he invited my father. I was made there, my kids were made there, and we find home there right now. So that's home for us. So fundamentally, this is not a new thing. Yes, we understand the scale at which they have been, growing out there. The country has been growing, the economy has been growing, is mind-boggling. It's hard for other societies to understand how is this possible in such a little time. That's the reality. The answer to that is very simple. Intent.
Wow.
I can tell you right now.
So it is not policy. It is all of those are enablers and catalysts to just one point: intent.
Intent. If the leadership walks and is mocked saying, you can't build an island out here, and said, I intend. You can't have the tallest building with such a soft sand. And I mean, people don't talk about the technological challenges that went into building that building. But it wasn't an easy feat. It wasn't just about putting bricks on bricks. But it was about the intent. Wow. Now, if you want to know what UAE is going to look like 10 years from now, you don't need to ask me. You can read a book. It says Vision 2030, Vision 2040, Vision 2050, and it will tell you what this country is going to be then.
So it's all chartered, it's written down in a policy document.
Absolutely. You're talking about the new airport that's coming up in Dubai. That's the big news, right? Frankly speaking, this land allocation for this airport had been done by the late His Highness Sheikh Rashid, which is two rulers prior
Wow.
to where we are today, right? So the vision comes from there. And everyone who's come in that leadership position has only added value to it. I can't think of any other society where leadership genuinely wants for the society, for citizens and residents equally to flourish.
Nice.
And when that intent exists to grow, build,
Everything follows.
everything follows.
Fabulous. Jigar, tell me, and I'm going to ask this question very selfishly.
Go ahead.
The two countries, India, UAE, of course, great relationships. What is it that you see UAE offers to Indian entrepreneurs, apart from that sandbox environment that you just articulated for the world? What do you think Indian entrepreneurs can make good use of?
Right. So, one, I think bureaucracy becomes a friction to entrepreneurship, frankly speaking.
Yes.
And there has been a way where that bureaucracy has been eliminated. So if I told you right now,
So it's not reduced, it's not coming down, it's
eliminated.
better.
It's eliminated to a great extent. Like let's talk about this vision of this cup, right, for 2 seconds. You had an idea. Let's assume it was validated and whatever, and you wanted to pursue with it now. I don't know what would it take for you to launch that company here, for example. I mean, you could launch this company while sitting in India for running the business out of the UAE within 5 minutes.
So I could, in India,
being in India, never having been to Dubai,
set up a business in Dubai, in UAE.
Yes.
And I can do it in 5 minutes flat.
Yes.
Fab.
So that's the intent, right?
And I don't even have to pay taxes on whatever income that comes by, right?
Yeah, I mean, very proud to say I've legally never had to pay personal income tax in my life. We have corporate tax in UAE. It ranges from 0% to 9%, depending on certain, regulations. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. There is an intent. But if you look at the infrastructure, if you look at the services the government offers you, it is mind-boggling.
Wow.
You have a flat tire on the road. It's 50 degree Celsius outside.
Okay.
A cop's going to stop by and may get off and actually help you change a tire. Over there, government services do not come from an intent of a gatekeeper. Over there, government services come with an intent to serve.
Nice.
And that's again the mindset that the government also wants you to succeed.
Tell me, and from the country, coming back to you as an individual, a multi-million-dollar deal that happened in 24, a couple of years back, would have been a significant milestone for you. How did it feel like?
It felt that the milestone wasn't financial. I mean, had made more money on other things by then, but it was emotionally a milestone because this was an organization where I started as an employee. So I did mention that I come from a privileged background.
Yes.
But what I didn't say is that I walked away from that privilege to test myself. So post my postgraduate education, I chose to not take a penny from the family and venture out on my own and figure out my life. And the first step for that was taking an employment. Before I can figure other things out, before I can raise money, save money, and start a business, right? And this was the company that I started as an employee at.
Wow.
Didn't make a lot of money, but I knew it was a startup and that gave me the scope for expansion rather than joining a multinational, which was the trend back then. So I chose the opposite. I mean, frankly speaking, my first salary wouldn't probably even cover my fuel bill, but it was more with an intent of getting the foot through the door and being able to see if I can add value.
And doing it yourself.
That was the same company where in a few years was able to buy a minority stake and then later an additional stake, right? And that was more of that emotional uh, let go. That was a milestone for me that, okay, from an exit perspective, because I've done many a successful
It would have
exits.
felt good.
Yeah, it sort of, this was more like, this was the starting point of just a journey, but it wasn't. That's the thing, right? When you do business enough times, you understand that what is emotional and what's not, and you don't stop your decisions based on emotions.
Nice.
But you don't ignore your emotions either.
Arabian Business named you as one of the top 50 Indian aces. That would have felt good too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I am proud of my culture. I know I am made in UAE. I know I've been raised there, but then I've been raised by Indian parents. I've been raised speaking an Indian language at home. I've been raised eating Indian food at home. I have been raised watching Bollywood, the same as you or anyone else. And culturally speaking, I mean, there's about, I think, 40% odd population of the whole country comes from India anyways. So you're always surrounded by the culture, and it's nice to, be able to stand out and represent that element of who you are.
Wow.
So as a global citizen, I'm still Emirati at heart. I'm still Indian at heart because of the dynamics of these two countries having played a role in my life. And to be able to represent any one of these countries gives you immense pride.
Got it. Tell me, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that are again for Indian businesses who are currently operating in the country.
Sure.
What are some 2-3 pieces of advices that you'll offer to them?
Right.
Without them paying a consulting fee to you?
Fair. I mean, I think it depends on what they're trying to do, but I think it depends on what stage of the journey you're in, right?
Sure.
So if I'm talking to someone who is an entrepreneur,
let's look at a couple of sectors.
Yeah, so let's just do it at different stages of the journey, and then let's talk about different sectors too. I think if you're someone who's sitting on a vision, figuring out what you're going to do about that business idea that's lingering in your brain, but not doing something about it, do. What's the worst that will happen is that it won't work.
Right.
But it's you're letting it fail even before you try, right? So one is, do not let ideas go away and not be dealt with without testing them.
And hence the sandbox environment of UAE could be one of those
places. Be one of them, right? So if, let's say, you want to set up a business and you want to structure it right and you want to run it out of there, it can cost you probably anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 to $5,000, and that's all about it takes. At the end of the day, take action. Do that tissue paper calculation that you have been holding off. Then for those who have started and need to now scale, if you're trying to scale just in India, you failed already.
Because you have to build for the world to be able to.
You have to build for the world. You have to think global from day one. So make sure as a part of that scale journey, you have enabled the ability to reach the world, not just read different pockets of India.
Got it.
Doesn't mean that you don't start with India, but it just means is that the fundamental setup of your systems, of your processes, of your SOPs, of your business, of your go-to-market strategy has to be global.
Got it.
For those that are, let's say, a medium size to a large size, if you are looking, and the assumption here is that you're successful, that's why now you're at that scale. You're a money-making business at this point. Frankly speaking, I think what you need to understand is you have had the ability to create value. How are you going to extract value? What does that mean? Is that you created this business, you took it to a layer of success. Now, either you can keep drawing dividends from it and keep working in it and have a job, or what happens when you are no longer in the business? Oh, I'll give it to my kid. Well, can you guarantee me that your kid is the best employee suitable for that business? No, you can't guarantee that.
Yes.
Nobody can. So the answer to that is, how do you create a system in place that your children can benefit from the profitability of the business without having to actually be involved in the business? So it's about creating systems.
And the system.
Or you go extract value. How do you extract value? Well, can you sell your business then? Sell a portion of it, sell the whole lot of it. At the end of the day, having money in your bank today, after, if you, let's say you're at that age or place in your life where you've created value. If you don't extract that value, you just wasted all your life.
Nice.
So it's not only about value creation, it's also about extraction of that value for yourselves. So go to the Middle East, look for, because it's a market, right? It's a market where the world's capital comes together.
Yeah.
See for exit opportunities out there. See for investments out there. See for someone who's willing to invest in your industry, in your geography, because there are a lot of investors sitting in the UAE looking for investments outside of the UAE too.
Nice.
If we talk about sectors, I would say, again, India does not need to come to UAE with an intent of finding more consumers.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you have
You already have a
you
lot of
have a
people.
lot of it out here. Let's be honest. In fact, it's the other way around. UAE businesses look into India market for
Expansion.
consumers and expansion. But if you wanna know how to go into the global market, whether it's dealing with multiple cultures, you don't need to go to a school to learn how to deal with the culture of, let's say, China, for example.
Come into a market like
Come
this.
into a market like this, and you will be a global citizen immediately.
Yeah.
So I see that for across sectors, whether it's education, whether it's media, there's a huge scope for all these sectors that are currently operating out of India to look at what I call the Miasa region, which is the Middle East and the North Africa region, where you can have an immediate access to by coming through the UAE channel.
What are those absolute low-hanging fruits that you can immediately recommend to people, right? You want to make your first $1 million, do this right now, today.
I think there is a lot of focus right now on certain compliances, whether it comes due to data protection rights. So we're seeing a lot of investment go into data centers, for example. And if you see, the challenge with data centers is the consumption of electricity, right? Power. I mean, the conflict that's happening in the Middle East is a power-related conflict at the end of the day. So it's all about power.
Yes.
How do you bring cheap power? Do we not have sun? Do we not have rain? Do we not have all of this? But how do we bring it down to a consumer level? Back in the day, there was no batteries. So you couldn't store power.
Now there are.
Now there's an ability to store power. How do you either improve on your ability to store power or create power? And if you can do it in a sustainable way,
you've cracked it.
You've cracked it. And then I don't think it's a $1 billion question, it's a $1 trillion question.
Fabulous. Tell me, this whole business economy that we touched on, there's a creator economy as well, right? You've done both, right? Where do you think that line blurs? Where do you think the interdependence between the two come by?
I mean, listen, when you talk about the creator economy, I think it boils down to intent again, right? So for someone out there, why are they doing it? Are they doing to be an influencer? So now what you're saying is that there's nothing wrong with it. Back in the day, you had billboards, you had print media and magazines and newspapers where you could advertise. Today, you're effectively, because the content is not being consumed on paper that much, it's being consumed on the phone, and people prefer moving content over static content. So, and they want to talk to human beings. So you just figure out a channel where you can showcase content. Back in the day, you had someone who would hold those flipboards outside a store, if you've seen them, right? Those are your influencers today. So there's nothing wrong with it. But do they understand that they're running a business whereby they're selling a piece of real estate, which is their time? So they are offering their time against a fee that they charge. Nothing wrong with it. How is it scalable? I don't know. Unless you're able to figure out and crack a way that it's scalable.
And create a process. Create a system in place that allows you to deploy.
If your hands are no longer flipping the signboards, how is this going to go ahead? Right? So that's what needs to be cracked. But then there's also that intent of, I think, where I came from. So I wasn't very active on social media back in the day. I had no intentions of being any sort of an influencer. Still, I realized there isn't very much of a difference between being a mentor and an influencer. And that's where I also picked up that there are a lot of people out there in the world who don't know me. who hasn't heard my story, who hasn't heard about my experiences, and how do I reach out to them, and why do I want to reach out to them? If you want to do something good for the world, which is you want to empower entrepreneurship, you want to share your experiences on entrepreneurship, because ultimately you can take away anything and everything from me, but you can't take away my experience from me.
Yeah.
Right. So fundamentally, that's the only thing that I have to give is my experience.
Nice.
I boiled it down to that.
Nice.
And I said, my experience is in entrepreneurship. So I'm going to make it my life's mission
And
to
it's
empower.
and it's here free for the world to make good
It is
use of.
free for the world. Take it, leave it, absorb it. I've written a book now, again, because I wanted to structure it in a way. So I'm putting a book out there very soon where I'm revealing the hidden code.
Nice.
And what's the hidden code? The hidden code is not a mystery. It is things that you probably even know, but don't realize how it impacts.
Nice.
It's simple things that I learned from doing at the souk and then figuring out 30 businesses later, 50 businesses later about, oh my God, that is something that was impacting X,
That's how
Y,
it all
Z.
came
And
together.
that's how it works. And it's more about sharing not just my life story, but the experiences I picked up from there and what business lessons I learned, right?
And that everyone can apply today.
You can apply the experiences.
Yeah.
You can't apply the solution as is. It's like
Sure.
having the same medicine for every disease in the world. So don't do that. Don't try to do what I did. Don't try to copy me because you'll fail. Because I failed too. Right? So the idea over here is it's about experiences. Now, from my life's experiences, there might be 10 experiences that may be of relevance to you in your whole life. But do you want to live my whole lifetime to understand it, or you could just read this book and absorb it? And that's the value of a book.
Fabulous. All right, some quick ones.
Go ahead.
Free zone or the mainland? If you're starting a business in the UAE today, what should I do?
Oh, depends. Very quick questions to be answered over here. Do you need to have a mainland license because of a certain activity? So, like, there's certain restricted activities such as defense, healthcare, even pertaining to real estate, which require you to have a mainland license. Second is my business is location dependent, which means I need to have an office in this building.
Got it.
A particular location, this area. Now, if that area falls under a free zone, it's free zone. If it's mainland, it's mainland. So that's how it works. But ultimately, there are more tax benefits. There are more structural benefits. The ease of doing business, setting up business is way better for a free zone.
Got it. One sector in UAE that is massively underrated at this point of time.
Ooh. I don't think people realize that UAE has been investing in sustainable power, recycling, and they don't do it just to, as a checklist item. Again,
Nice.
the intent is there to make a difference. And I think in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to see an influx of more initiatives come out from the government, which will require businesses to catch up, because out there they haven't yet caught up to how to maybe even assess their, sustainability measures, KPIs, how much carbon is, getting out there and things like that. And businesses will need to adapt or hire talent. So if you're coming in with anyone and everyone who's trying to bring cheap power, store more power, make things more sustainable, you are into technology, whereby that technology enables efficiency, you're going to kill it in that market.
Fab. An AI tool that you actually use every day, not just recommend, but you use it every
Listen,
day.
if I'm talking about using it every day, I use pretty much ChatGPT and Claude, and I make them fight.
Nice.
I mean, that's what I use on a daily basis. But then there are other tools that I use every now and then.
Spreadsheet or gut? What is it that you follow when you make an investment call?
Spreadsheet or gut? Oh, it starts with the gut. But I have never followed the gut without the spreadsheet validating it. So decisions have to be data driven.
Got it. One red flag that tells you immediately that the founder, the person sitting across the table looking for that funding, isn't ready yet.
Could not explain me the business in 30 seconds.
Nice. Jigar, it was an absolute pleasure. What fun we've had today. And the conversation today has been absolutely exhilarating. I hope, and I wish viewers today take good pieces of information out of our conversation and understand what is a mini masterclass into starting their own business in UAE.
Listen, I mean, for everyone out there, I like to be part of such initiatives, and I'm here because it's all about spreading knowledge. And if you're out there, spread knowledge, spread experiences, both good and bad. You don't have to just tell your success stories, tell your failure stories and the lessons you learned from it, so that someone else can save time and not, waste time making those mistakes. And thank you for having me here, and thank you for, allowing me to share that experience and story with the rest of the world.
Absolutely incredible, Jigar. I hope a lot of success for you. I wish a lot of success for you professionally. You're doing extremely well. May you continue to do extremely well. Knock all of those mega million deals, mega billion, trillion deals for you. Hope you get into systems and processes that allow you to become a lot more fulfilled than what you are today. Um, and until the next time we meet, I'm sure you would have done extremely, extremely well. Have a fabulous day ahead of you.
Thank you so much, for those wonderful wishes. But I genuinely hope from the bottom of my heart that if I can, in my lifetime, take any step or every step that requires to enable entrepreneurship, that is it. That's what matters.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.